Hi, I'm Uncle Mark. Welcome to the channel. Just working on a 2003 Chevy Impala. I'm changing the interior fan or blower motor, if you want to call it that. Not the easiest thing to do because it's kind of cramped. I have to lay on my back, lay upside down, but it's doable. You want to save yourself a couple bucks? See how I did it. I'll even show you what tools I used. So we'll get in. It's right under the glove box here on the passenger side, just below here. So there's this little plastic shelf that's got a couple little clips. I'll show you how they work. Should have just come off. Just kind of squeeze them and they're supposed to release. And there's an actual real clip here. Now when you need one of these door panel tools. Or I guess you could use a couple screwdrivers. I'm going to have to use another screwdriver thing with it because it doesn't seem to want to come out the way it is. I'll put a link in the description for this tool though. This is very useful. Let's see, I'm having all sorts of trouble at the bottom here. Let's get another screwdriver. There we go. This will work. You can see we're already kind of bending and discoloring that. Okay, that's just one of those push clips, or whatever you want to call them. Set that aside somewhere without losing it. Now it should come out here with just a couple of these things. You pinch them together. The way it's supposed to work anyway, I believe, is you just push down like that. So I'm not going to lie, I fought with it for a while, so I thought, well, let's use a screwdriver. When you see what this looks like, I'll show you it from the back after. It's like, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble unless the plastic's just old and it's not as slippery as it should be. It's like, you're ready to pull a little harder. Might as well show you my pain, because you'll probably have the same pain. Just about out. No, there we go. Maybe I need to pull it ahead. It's just like a little piece of plastic that's bent over. See what I mean? Maybe I wasn't pushing it far enough down. See, there's a big edge on the end of it. Anyway, there's one on the passenger side here too. That's okay. If you think this is already too hard, well, you won't like what's to come. There you go. It came out. You don't want to pull too hard because it's plastic going into plastic. Probably could break it. There's a bulb here for the floor. Give it a twist. Counterclockwise. There you go. That bulb is working, so I've got the power off in here. Although it should eventually, once the doors are open, stop on its own. Set that aside. And that shiny silver thing, that's the blower motor. Now depending, they're either T20s or they're 5.5 millimeter sockets or the 7/32. This one is the torque screws. I tried a screwdriver, torque screwdriver, and it's really too long, especially for the back one. There's a third one on that side, right back here. Tried loosening it a little bit. You can't really see, but the screwdriver's on quite an angle to get at it. Once the screw comes out a teeny bit, I think it's going to be too much of an angle. So what I did is I resorted to using a torque bit. Now there's a clip here. It's holding this wiring harness, and this wiring harness is in the way. So I unhook the clip, and you see where the arrow is here? It's part of the harness goes into this plug, which is part of your blower resistor speed control. So I'm gonna have to unhook that too. But there is a wire. It's right here. It's a connector that goes right into the back. Or on this side here. Just touch. Oh, man. This is so stiff. The wires seem almost short. Very annoying. So what I'm going to use here is a thumb drive and a little torque bit socket. This is kind of neat because you can, well, it's a ratchet. It's a ratcheting thumb drive. You can go left or right with it, or ratchet, whichever way you turn it. I tried using a normal ratchet, and there's no room under here. It looks like there's lots, but you got to figure this foot rest or well is on an angle. That's what that little torque screw looks like. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to do this for a living. I loosen that one, loosen this one in the front. So there's 3 of them total. Like I say, they could be bolts. These were screws. These were torque bits. I'll try and put a link in the description for these tools. But maybe check yours first if you're going to take it out. So I thought, well, you know, get the bolts out and maybe I can wiggle this motor out. And the answer is, spoiler alert, no, you can't. It's just that harness is way too much in the way. It doesn't matter how much tugging, probably going to break something or rip a wire. I don't want to do that. You have to remember too, there's still a connector. This one's straight ahead here. That's for your blower resistor. So you see it's got a little clip in the middle of it right there. You have to pull the clip towards you a little bit and then pull this whole thing down. Easier said than done. And it's like it's right against the firewall. Oh, and then I had a problem with the camera. It went into some kind of slow-mo. So hopefully the little flickering doesn't bother you. Anyway, that's what that connector looks like. Now there's a little more room. And this bracket also is kind of holding part of this situation here. So I figured I'm taking this out too. This uses 5.5 millimeter bolt. Or like I say, I think it's a 7/32. Yes. There's 2 of those. Could be the same ones if your motor had them holding it in. Got this bracket out of the way, figured it's going to save me some time. And it's got these plastic, they're not wires, they're actually tubes. I think they use vacuum to suck something open. There you go. With that out of the way, look at that. Here it comes. You hope. There's also this air breather tube. It's like I think it kind of they use it for cooling. Get that out of the way. Spin this around a little bit. And the wire's still hooked up on the back. See it? Connector. Mirror might be nice. There's a little tab there you push. There you go, like that. I can push in the middle of my finger. Use my other finger. Push and pull. There. That didn't feel great, huh? And this finally comes out. And I see somebody signed the bottom of the dash. Probably one of the people that was building the car. It's kind of neat. Kind of a little signature. More wiggling. There's no room. I don't know how they build these things. And there you go. That's what it looks like. I figured, well, why not play with it? Oh, there goes the camera. So this one actually works, this used one. I'm going to show you if you have a little test meter, if you set it to 20 volts and can touch those 2, if you have on this car, those 2 connectors, and then spin the motor, it'll actually make power, work like a little generator. If the motor works, and this one does. I'll just show you. See, it's making a little bit of voltage. If I could spin it faster, I can make more voltage. I know it's set into the negative. I must have the terminals backwards. But anyway, back to this. Let's pretend this is the new motor. You have to put this little tube back on, and it goes over the connector. And this is how it's going to face. That's what it's going to look like. But I found it's better not to put it on the motor. I'm just showing you how it's going to sit on there. I'm going to take it back off. You know, you'll see that's going to actually go into a hole here. I'll show you under the dash. There's a little tube right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put that on there first. It just friction fits on there. And then stick the motor in and then hook it up. Because if you don't, how are you going to get your hand in behind there to hook that rubber hose on that little piece that needs to hook up to? Does that make sense? You followed this long. Oh, this might be a good time. Why not give me the thumbs up? It's only going to take you a second. You're not going to miss anything. Other than maybe aligning this hole up. My tummy's making noise too. You're laying upside down. Just 8. Anyway, too much information. Put these bolts back in, or screws. Get them going in the right way. Started with this front one, whichever one's easier, I guess, for you. As long as you have that rubber hose back in, you'll be able to do all the connectors. I was able to anyway, after this point. snug in. Did I do that last screw in the back? No, I didn't. Oh, there we go. Skippable chapters, of course, but you've gotten this far. I'll put that one in there. Basically, it's in and it's done. What's next? Might as well put this tube on. I'm going to take this elastic part and put it over this connector around the back here first before we actually hook up the wire to it. Otherwise, you're going to have to unhook it. Like I say, I'm trying to balance a camera, trying to balance my head in here and a few other things. I think you'll have it a little easier. Plus, I got a light here too, so you can see what's going on. There you go. Make sure that's in there properly. That looks good. Now, got a couple connectors. This flat one goes to the very back, and the square one goes into the motor, or rectangle, I guess. Now, you can't see what you're doing when you're trying to plug this in. Again, because I have a camera in there, so I can feel it. It's like, which way does this go? I'm sure it's you know, sits the way I'm trying to plug it in. So I'm going to just show you a little clip of when we had the motor out, which way this wire wants to sit, and that's how it actually goes in the motor. Like, I am doing it the right way, but wow, it should be so easy. Of course, like I say, I'm upside down and my arm is bent the wrong way, and every excuse I can think of. I imagine they'd probably charge you a few bucks at a dealer to do this, or just your local little shop. Bear with me for a second here. Just about got her in. When we were taking it out, take a look at this. This is old footage. See the way it wants to sit? That's the way it plugs right in. Just straight in that way. So I was holding it the right way. Now, if your motor was just running high or something, this is what it is. It's the blower motor control module or resistor, whatever you want to call it. You'll see there's just 2 bolts on there. There's those same, I believe they're those 5.5 millimeter, 7/32, and it would just pop out. Now we're going to plug this back in. I'm not taking it out. I'm glad I didn't have to because there's no room there. But here's where it plugs back in. And you can see how close it is to the firewall, and it's just going to clip on there. I can see it from here. And on my back, again, I think I did this from the driver's side, laying across that hump. And just like hooking it in by feel. I think I got dizzy after this. Anyway, it's hooked up. I'm going to put this metal piece back on, and it sits like that. And this sits with the open part down. Not that way. That way. Just like that. Anyway, let's do her. Pretty easy. You can find those 2 little bolts that we took off of here. If I can get it in around this harness again. So I'm going to let it sit there for now. I'll clip it on after. Remove these little plastic air tubes, hoses. They're like a vacuum hose, the black and the purple, violet. I think they control blend doors or something like that, I'm not sure. Sit that on there, get the little bolt back in. We'll do the front one first. Easy enough. I'll snug it up in a minute. I'll try and get the back one in there too, make sure that I don't pinch these plastic tubes. Move them around a little bit. Should be good. Actually, looks like I should have had them hooked in that little hook on the bottom, but they'll be fine. Snap this back on around that loom, and we're pretty much ready to go. So to put that cover back on, it just sits underneath. Make sure I plug this light back in. Goes clockwise this time, in and turn right. Guess I could have checked it now to make sure it does work. That might be a good idea before you put all this together, but it worked when he took it apart, right? And it doesn't seem to have a piece in the back that really holds it on. It just clips in. A little funny clip there. The other front one. Just trying to line it up a little bit. Snap her in. And then this push pin that seems to hold the back piece on. Not the easiest thing to get back in. It was hard to line up. Then again, not a whole lot of leverage under here. Tried pushing pretty hard. Then I don't tell anybody, but I just smacked her on there. There you go. I think it's on there. When I'm done, I'm sure that would have been charged an hour. Let's make sure it works. I'm going to turn my key to accessory. I have all the speeds. Yes, I do. That easy. That's going to do it for our video today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. See how I did it? It wasn't the easiest thing, but it's not the hardest thing to do. If you have some time and some patience, it can be done. And if you like the video, why not give me the thumbs up if you haven't already? You can also subscribe down in the corner. And I'll do a playlist here. Playlist on this car, 2000 to 2005. Actually, even the newer ones are going to be fairly similar, I imagine. You can see there's quite a few videos there on this car. Other problems you may also experience, either now or later on. I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Uncle Mark saying bye-bye for now. Please subscribe, and you'll get all the notifications. It's easy. The little dog will show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
No.
You'll want to see how this is done. I didn't show you every angle. No, it doesn't work.